Hey there guys, I am downtown Traverse City, Michigan, on site of a really incredible, historic, beautiful Victorian home that's being completely, lovingly restored. And I've been hired to design and envision a complete overhaul of the landscape for this really wonderful family that's doing this project. We're gonna walk you through what we're doing and the whole dream and scheme of it all today, and take you through the whole project and everything as we go a little later on this summer season. So let's dive in. All right, so this beautiful historic home here in downtown Traverse City was built between 1894 and 1895. Took 2 years to build. A man named William Hull built this, and he was the owner of the Overwood Dish Company. So apparently dishes, there's a lot of money in dishes in the late 1800s. And I'm sure that when it was built, it was an absolute masterpiece. It has been neglected for probably about 40 or 50 years. The new owners are lovingly restoring it and doing a really impressive historic renovation of this home, which is going to be a gift to this entire community. And I'm super honored to be the one selected to design the whole landscape. Now, when designing a landscape like this, on a home like this, you have to be really conscious of the plant choices that you choose and the style and everything to complement the home. You can't go overboard with a lot of new plants and new concepts and make it look too modern. It just really won't fit and look appropriate to the home. And obviously with the scope and the scale and the size of a place like this, we've got to put in some pretty big plant material in certain places too. Fortunately, the house already is surrounded by some big, beautiful specimen trees. I mean, some gorgeous big oaks, some big maples. There's a really beautiful big clump redbud in the back. So we've got some really cool plants that we are able to work with that allows us to kind of be under a little bit of a filtered canopy in this neighborhood setting here. And so that's a real gift for me, because when you're dealing with a full sun, new construction site, it's a lot more difficult than a little bit of filtered sun under a canopy. Just the plant palette we're gonna be able to use is a lot more interesting for me. But I'll take you guys through the kind of rough idea of the concept here as we go. This is the front door, the main front door of the house. Really ornate, incredible architecture throughout the entire house. In our next video, we'll go through the entire house and show you all of that as well. But there's a ton of guys in there right now working, and we don't want to get in their way. But when they should be done inside with all the inside work in a few weeks. And when they do, we'll give you guys a tour through the whole house. That'll be a lot of fun. But this will be a big, really beautiful main front walkway going right up to the front doors there. There'll be a new fence out front here. Will be a metal wrought iron fence around the property. There never was a fence around the property in any of the historic photos that we can find, but these new owners have children and dogs and all that stuff, so we're gonna do an appropriate fence, but obviously we want to adapt it to the new owners here. In the back here, you can see this, the porte-cochere. This is where back in the day, in the late 1800s, a horse and carriage would pull right up underneath that and unload, guests and groceries and whatnot into the house. We're gonna get rid of all of this concrete. 100% of all the concrete is gonna go. This is gonna be a lot more of a pedestrian or a lot more of a landscaped feel. We are still gonna allow for access, but it's gonna be real secretive how we're gonna do it. So they'll still be able to come in here into the property and things like that with a vehicle or with equipment and stuff to access and maintain and work on the property, but we're gonna make sure that this whole entire back space is a lot more conducive to outdoor living, family living, entertaining, and stuff like that. So what used to just be really, was adapted for vehicle use with a lot of parking and a lot of concrete. We're gonna get rid of all that and totally change this whole vibe back here. Back in here, you can see that the landscape is really, really old because there's just huge overgrown drifts of bulbs and massive, massive drifts of lily of the valley here. And there's all kinds of old lilacs and stuff, and we're going to do everything we can to restore and save as much as we possibly can. Some of these lilacs are really in good shape. We're going to trim them up. We'll dig them up and move them around the property in different locations. But this whole space that we're in back here will be fenced in with a really ornate, beautiful privacy fence that my brother Emery is building. He and I designed this really cool fence. It's all going to be built out of cypress, and it's got this beautiful lattice work with these really ornate curves at the top and stuff. Again, tying into a lot of the architecture of the house. That's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll definitely do a video of Emery building all that and being out at his shop and putting all that together, because we're dreaming and scheming that up. All right, so we decided to jump on out to Emery's shop to check in on the progress of the cypress fencing and everything for the beautiful Victorian renovation that we're doing down there in town. And so this is Emery's new shop here in Traverse City. He's just moving in and getting this all outfitted and set up and building all of his workbenches and cabinetry and everything and getting this all set up. Here's Emery right here, and sitting around drinking coffee. And we thought we'd check in and see how far along everything was coming with the cypress fencing, panels and stuff like that. And over here, we've got drawings and sketches and all kinds of cool ideas that he's worked up for the different pergolas and arbors and gates, which is great. But the fence and materials, or some of it, is still sitting over here in a big pile. So as we can see here, he's really working hard on projects for his brother. But this is all the rough sawn cypress right here. What's the thickness on this, Em? 5/4? 6/4?
5/4 and 4/4. Yeah.
5/4 and 4/4, which means 1.25 inches, because 5 quarters would be a full 1.25 inches thick. 4/4 would be 1 inch thick, full inch thick. But all rough sawn cypress, and all of the fences, arbors, gates, everything like that for that entire project are going to be made out of this cypress, and then not painted, right, but solid color stained.
Oh, stained, yeah, to match.
Solid color stained to match the house. We've got, this is an older storyboard that we created a few weeks ago for the fence, to kind of draw out the different parts and pieces and how the fence will all come together. This helps a lot to be able to envision it and figure it out and talk through how the construction of each panel and everything will go together, and kind of troubleshoot through and work through all of that. But we've changed this notion and idea quite a bit. And actually, when Emery and I were up on the island a week or so ago, we kind of took inspiration, or Emery took inspiration and had an idea from the fence at our grandmother's house, where it's also a cypress fence. It's a really, really impressive fence. And the posts are concrete posts, and the cypress, the actual wood, is what, like 1 inch, 2 inches off?
Yeah, 4 inches.
There's like a bracket that holds all the wood up out of the ground, and the pier that goes way down into the ground is concrete. So we're gonna model that same kind of notion with this fence, we think, which will be really cool and allow us to have all the height and everything that we need above ground without having any wood below ground or touching ground at all, right? let's get back downtown and show you guys through the rest of that project. Back down on Washington and Wellington, downtown Traverse City. Back here, this is gonna be all leveled up in a big, really perfect, nice lawn area for the kids to be able to play and things like that in a real private setting. But of course, leaving all these big trees to, have this gorgeous canopy. This is the back side of the house. You can see they're replacing windows, replacing siding. I mean, incredible restoration work that's going on in this place. They have a long way to go, but I just can't wait to show you guys what it's gonna look like when it's done. But let's go around the front side of the house and I'll talk you through some really cool features we're gonna do out there, and then we'll kind of work our way around the back and loop around the whole entire thing. All right, so on what many of us call the front side of the house, this big face here that faces Washington Street in downtown Traverse City is a lot more ornate and a lot more decorative than the back side of the house, which is typical with these big kind of Queen Anne Victorian mansions of the late 1800s. The front side, has the big turrets, the really fancy detailed work and everything on all of the shingle work and trim work. The chimney alone, I mean, look at that chimney. The brickwork on that chimney, it's just incredible. You just do not see work like that anymore. And so this whole entire front corner of the landscape is, probably, I'm really excited about all elements of this one, but this side in particular is gonna be really quite charming because the owners are just really community-minded folks and they want to do some really neat things for this whole entire neighborhood. So this beautiful oak here has this perfect horizontal branch here right above me, and we're gonna make this whole space around this oak into this really charming little space with this beautiful swing that they're gonna leave open and invite neighborhood folks and neighborhood kids to be able to come in. So this whole kind of little corner space is gonna be like a community park or a little community bench area, which would be really neat. Again, they are doing this home as their family home, but it's also a gift to the community to restore this just iconic masterpiece here. So it's really neat that they're taking this on. As you can see, the house exterior, there's certain faces and certain places that are still in really rough shape that are needing to be still torn apart, rebuilt, and everything. But they built this, massive visqueen plastic structure around the whole front porch for the winter because they were in there working on the whole front face and the front porch of the house, which is actually really close to turning the corner. They're almost done with that. All that plastic and stuff will be coming down next week. And as soon as they finish up inside, they're gonna be shifting outside. And throughout this summer season, this place is gonna really transform. Especially when we can get some landscaping in here and really soften it right up. On this side of the house over here, all this concrete is coming out completely. There'll be that fence running all the way around the property and a really charming arbor entryway there, gate. A nice little stone pathway back through here. Another privacy fence here that'll run all the way down this here. There'll be a big mixed hedge along here, really privatize this out. And this whole space will be this hot tub, kind of, family intimate space here off of the kitchen. This deck here goes right into the kitchen, kind of mudroom area. This is where the family will be coming and going, on a daily basis, constantly from the garage and everything. And just look at the rot and the condition of this. It takes a lot of love to restore an old house like this and to do it properly. I'm just really glad that they're doing it. But here you can see an old banister where there was a staircase here. We're getting rid of that, and this will be just a railing running across here so that this whole patio space can be this nice little pocket back in here. But then as you open up into the back, again, all this concrete goes away and this whole space transforms into kind of a multi-tiered big family entertaining space, fire pit, outdoor dining space and everything like that, but done in a way that's tasteful, respectful of the home. It's going to be just absolutely amazing. We have a big site meeting coming up in a couple of weeks with all the contractors and everybody involved. I'll be sure to get another video out for you guys here real soon. Again, like I said, we'll dive through and do a tour of the home, which will be really, really cool for you guys to see. We could probably do that with one of the owners. They would love to show you all through and take you through the history of the house and all these just really, really unique antiques and artifacts and things like that that are throughout the home. So that'll be a lot of fun. But we'll get the plans out and walk you through the whole landscape and everything as we start into demolition and we really start flagging and tagging this thing out, so you guys can join along with this complete and total restoration and transformation of this lovingly restored home here in downtown Traverse City. So be sure to stay tuned. It'll be a lot of fun to dive into this one with you guys. We'll see y'all soon in the next video. Cheers. This place is amazing. Wait till you guys see the whole tour. Look at this guy. All right, so I was wondering how the heck a dish company could have possibly created the kind of wealth in the late 1800s to, to build a home like this. A lot of the homes that I've worked on and seen from that era were like, railroad money and big time lumber money and, car shipbuilders, stuff like that. But apparently the Overwood Dish Company made disposable wood products back in the 1800s before plastic. And so every time you'd go to like a butcher or and get anything like get some meat at the butcher, they'd put your meat on a thin wooden tray and it was disposable. You'd just throw them away, they'd compost away. And this guy created all of his products, all of his picnic products. He made silverware, dishes, all kinds of stuff out of real thin wood, and it was all just scrap wood from a buddy of his that had a furniture company. So he literally created, millions out of just scrap wood. It's really cool. Anyway, so before plastic, the Overwood Dish Company had it going on. Pretty sweet.